for this hanger, we've got 6 lengths, all that are about 3 meters long. So similar to the last, but a bit longer. And then 2 50-centimeter lengths. So we're going to, similar to the previous one, find the central point on our long lengths, which is about here for this, and I'm going to go straight into creating a loop. I'm going to grab one of my shorter lengths and create a wrap knot. So you hold your length there, create the loop, and begin wrapping round. So keeping that free. So wrap round the loop. Try and create a bit of tightness so it's nice and secure. And then you go through the loop, find your shorter length up at the top, and that pulls it all tight, and you pull it until the knot is halfway up into the wrapped section. Okay, and that will give you, just neaten that up a bit, that'll give you your loop for hanging. So there it is. So I'm going to hang this up onto the frame and create, I'm going to cut that from our wrap knot as well. So we're just left with our 6 longer sections. Well, actually it's 12 now because they've been put in half. So we're going to create our 3 groups again. So 4 in each group. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start with the square knot. So I'm going to come down about 10 centimeters and begin the square knot. So you're creating a loop on the left hand side. The right hand string is going over the top, and then you come underneath and go up through that loop that you just created, and then position it where you want to have it, and then do the same the other side. So your loop is on the right, and then your left string goes over the top, round the back, and up through the loop. And then if we do that again, and the same on the other side. Now I've done 2 square knots. There we go, so there's one, and then there's the second one. So I'm going to repeat that until I've got maybe 4 or 5 square knots. There we go. And I'm going to switch to my next group now. Let's keep it down to measure. So I've got 2 central strings, and I'm going to begin the square knots. So these lengths are much longer, so I have to, try and let them hang from a height that means they won't tangle too much. Measure it to be about the same height again, and create about 5 knots, square knots. So we've got our 3 sections there. Now I'm going to take one of the groups and measure. I'm going to pull it tight a bit. Let's just tighten that. And measure about 10 centimeters down, and I'm going to create a knot. So just all the strings, create a loop and pull them through. So again, just pull them tight to give you the full measurement once the weight is in the hanger, and you can just neaten that up, make sure they're all laying flat, and tweak them individually. I'm going to go around and do the same on the other groups. Can be a bit fiddly, so just worth spending a bit of time getting them in the correct place. And looking really neat. Then when you go to the end of your strings, there may be a shorter one or shorter 2 and then longer 2. I've actually only got a shorter one, but take that shorter one or the shorter 2, which should be from how it is, and those are going to be the shorter ones are going to be the central strings, and then the longer ones we're going to create the twisted knot with. So I'm going to start as though we're doing a square knot, my loop on the left hand side, and keep repeating that same side. And that is what's going to start creating your twist. So I'm going to carry on with that. You can see it starting to create this sweet twist. There we go, so we're getting that twist through the knots as we work our way down. So I'm going to leave it about there, maybe a couple more. You can shift them up if you want them a little bit more dense. And then I'm going to finish it off with another knot. It'll sit at the bottom. And there we go, we've got our twist. So I'm going to repeat that on the other two strings. So I've just finished the twist knots on the 3 sections, finished with the knot at the bottom. And now I'm going to take 2 sections and I'm going to grab 2 strings from one side and 2 strings from the other side. So I'm going to be attaching those together basically. So I then create my central strings and I'm going to start a square knot about, it's just over 10 centimeters, so 12 centimeters down. And if we just do that there, so I'll do the other side. That's secured those two sections together. Now I'm going to go round to the next one. So I've got the 2 strings left from that section, and I'm going to take 2 strings from the final section. I've got 2 go running down the middle from each section, and I'm going to create my square knot and make sure that it sits at the same height as the other one that we just did. And now we just have the final strings to bring together, nice and secure, and that is going to start creating the hanger where the pot will be. So now I'm going to create another attachment. So taking the 2 knots, I'm going to take 2 from that side and 2 from that side, and then from each section have a string to create the central part, and create another square knot, a similar distance down again from where we did, so it's all very even, so similar distances. I just eyeball it, but you might want to take a measure as well. Got our square knot there. And now this is where it can get a bit confusing. So we've got 2 from this section, and we'll grab 2 from that back section. Then we've got 1 from each side that will become our centre and our square knot. Make sure it's about the same height. And then you've just got the last one. So I've got the 2 coming into the middle, and then create my square knot. Measured down again to the same height as the previous ones. There we go. So we've created them all at the same height as the previous ones. And then I'm going to measure down another distance. Okay, so now to finish off the hanger, I'm going to come a similar distance down again and create a wrap knot. So you hold your kind of top length there, create your loop, and begin wrapping round. So just make sure the wrapping comes at about the same distance down. Keep it nice and tight. You can wrap as many or as few times as you like, depending on how long you want the knot to look. Let me just do one more. And then the loop, just go through the loop, and on the shorter length at the top, pull it up until it sits about halfway up into there. And then you snip that, and you've got your hanger. So we'll put a plant in it. I've just neatened off all the ends to create a nice finish.